All right, here's the prototype that we're going to complete. And when you first look at a design like this, you get enamored by, I don't know, the visuals, the photos, the text, and all the little style details. What you don't often look at right away is the layout and structure. And so for the first few weeks of Careers in Code, I've been really trying to slow down and just focus on layout and structure, all the invisible things that you don't just see right off the bat. Like I said, you get enamored by icons and type and images and all the beautiful things. You don't end up looking at the structure. So I've tried to give everyone clues about the underlying structure that's holding it all together. And if you can master structure, you'll realize the typography and the icons and the images is really just icing on the cake. So I want to start from scratch, Syracuse.com, really fast as possible, because you have seen the intro stuff a number of times. But after that, we're going to roll on and eventually, probably 1 hour into this, get into the icing on the cake and finish it off with image styles, article styles, and some subtle icons. Before I do that, how are we doing on Slack? Give me a thumbs up if you can hear me correctly and audio is fine and all that fun stuff. I'm just taking a look at my audio settings. Yeah, pretty good. Everyone a thumbs up. Who's with me today? Who's with me? Sunday, 1 o'clock. Everyone got a little snack off to the side. I have a little water off to the side. Everyone go to the bathroom at a time, because you know what? We're about to begin, I don't know, a 2-hour code session. We'll take a little break at 3 o'clock and come back in 5 minutes and do the tax. Not the tax, yeah. The tip calculator. And everyone's asking for the link. The link is on YouTube, Hack Upstate or something. It's coming. I gotta go to the channel of Hack Upstate. And yeah, there we go. Okay. Everyone go ahead and click on that. And in Slack, give me thumbs up. Give me thumbs up that you're with me, that you can hear me, all that fun stuff. I think Eva's with us, Dakir is with us, Karen, maybe Linda, Kate, I don't know. Who's with me? Thumbs up. I am not proceeding. I am not going further. I am pulling this car over until you give me thumbs up. Meanwhile, I am gonna go ahead and just get up. Got some thumbs up. Please give me a notification that you're on Slack and you're following along. Can you hear me? All that fun stuff. While you do that, I'm gonna set up a new folder. And I'm gonna make a new Syracuse.com project folder and drag it into VS Code and get it set up. Any comments on Slack? Good. Give me a thumbs up and all that fun stuff. Cool, awesome. All right, so in VS Code, I dragged in the Syracuse.com folder. We are starting from complete scratch, so maybe sit back a little bit and put on your seatbelts, and we're going to start from scratch to scratch. I have the folder. I open up my terminal. I am going to force myself in the terminal to make all the files and folders as much as possible. I try to do this at the very beginning, but then I eventually taper off and I start manually making things. It's fine, but at the very beginning, you should definitely get into the habit. So I have the project folder. I'm going to create a file called index.html. I am going to make directory for the CSS stuff. Make a directory preemptively for JavaScript, the JS stuff. I'm going to make a directory definitely for the images. And I think that's it for like the root directory of your project folder. I'm going to dive in, CD, and go into CSS land and make a few files. We'll definitely start out with my table of contents in the SAS file. Style.css. Style.css. SCSS, that is. Let me just make sure. Any comments on Slack? Oh, Dakir, should we code alongside you from scratch? I would say no, because you're probably going to get tripped up on something, and then all of a sudden you're going to be behind me like by 5 minutes or something. If we're doing this in person, yeah, maybe code it with me, because I can always look over your shoulder. But maybe pause and wait until I get to one of your problem spots that you might have had, and ask along. Actually, I'm going to open up Slack on my phone so I can see some questions on the fly, and I don't have to flip it back and forth between everything. Okay, anyways, touch style.sass. And what else? Well, as you've gotten to Sass a few times, we're going to try to treat Sass in a very organized fashion. We're not going to just dump everything into style.sass. That's going to be our table of contents. We're going to make some directories, some common directories that you'll see in every single project. No matter if it's a very simple project like that the tip calculator, or a more advanced one that you'll get into like Syracuse.com. So definitely we're going to make a folder called base. We're going to make a folder called regions. That's where header, footer, sidebar is going to go. We're going to make a directory for views. That's home page versus single page versus any inside page. That's unique to that. What else? Base, regions, components. Components, an example would be a form. You're going to see a little bit tonight of article. It might be social media icons. Things that are going to be reusable in multiple regions, multiple views, will all go into components. What else? I think that's good for right now. Let's not over-engineer this right away, but you can always expand upon it. And cool. And I'm going to make the partials as I need them, as I dive into them. So here comes, well, I'll make my first one. I'm going to CD and go into base and touch and make our first one called normalize.sass. I'm going to put all that normalized stuff in there, and I'm going to make another one called variables.sass, put all my colors and my typefaces, my reusable stuff like that. I guess eventually we're going to have some, we're going to have a mix-ins. We're going to have that beast, that mix-in beast that does our responsive stuff, and maybe some other things that we develop along the way. I think, and foundation. Yeah, that's where the body styles might go, or the container class might go. Now, don't do this too much. Don't try to like think of everything right away. Build it up as you get to it. Don't try to be an all-star. Don't try to be a complete nerd here. Build it up as you need them. So I'm going to start with normalize.sass and get into it. Base. Look how organized this is already off to the side. Normalize. Here comes normalize. I'm going to open up the browser, go get normalize.sass. I probably could open up a previous project, but that would take too long. This takes about 2 seconds. Select all, paste all that stuff in, and open up my table of contents, my style.sass, and do my first import. And import something from the base folder called normalize. Cool. Eventually, that's going to be semicolon, but eventually that'll be comma. It'll be comma partial, comma partial, comma partial, comma partial. All that fun stuff. Perfect. I want to get into, before I get too far, I want to get into base/foundation. And I want to get body background color going before I get too far. I got to make sure all this is working before I get super deep into this project. And if I go ahead and open up the index in the browser, you're going to see a big fat white screen. Take 2 seconds. Answer this question to yourself. Why am I seeing a white screen? Okay, the answer is I have nothing in my index.html. Well, VS Code, exclamation point, tab, build out the scaffolding for a basic index file, type in link, tab, link to css/style.css, my old-fashioned style sheet, and put something in the body. Something goes here. and document will become Syracuse.com, whatever. Okay, save. Go back to the browser. Refresh. Boom, still nothing. I got something goes here in my body, but something critical, something commonsensical is not working. Take 2 seconds to yourself. Ask yourself, why am I still not seeing body background color yellow? 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi. It's because I have yet to turn on SAS. Okay, just because I touched and make directories and all that fun stuff doesn't mean things are working correctly. Before I turn on SAS, I gotta ask myself, where the hell am I in the terminal? And Linda, yes, you are correct on Slack. I did not turn it on. Beautiful. PWD, where the hell am I? I'm in the base folder. I need to exit the base folder, cd .. And PWD, where am I? Oh my God, zoom out, zoom out, zoom out. I'm in the CSS folder, there we go. And here comes SAS, hyphen watch. Watch what? Watch a file called style.sas and turn it into a beautiful butterfly called style.css. It's like moth : butterfly. Boom. And that's now writing. And here we go. And SAS wrote a style.css file for me automatically. I didn't have to create that myself. Refresh and I see yellow and I see normalize working. I can tell because my text is going to the tippy top left corner of my entire browser. Beautiful. All right. Any questions so far? Good, good, good. I hope that is like almost memorized, almost natural in the back of your head of how to set up a website. Like I said earlier, please don't get too, make directory too touchy, too, don't get too, don't do all this work ahead of time. Let the website scale up as you build into it. But you do definitely want to set up the structure of base, components, regions, views as soon as possible, so you don't have to do too much rearranging in the future, but we're off and running. All right, so let's get back to the prototype. And starting out, whoa, where did my prototype go? My prototype, my PDF. Okay, there's a header, there's a showcase, there's trending, there's a banner ad, and then there's a footer ad. Just by saying that to myself, there's a header tab. Header goes here. There is a section called showcase. So I'm going to do section.showcase tab. That builds me out a section element. Actually, no, I take that back. Let me just back up 1 second. There's main content. Main content is going to have multiple regions inside it. So main opens up. Inside main, I'm going to have a showcase versus trending. So section.showcase tab. Showcase goes here. And a section dot, as in class dot trending. Can't spell trending. Section dot trending tab and say trending goes here. After main content is over, there's a banner ad. I'm going to call that a section dot banner tab. Banner ad goes here. Notice it's outside of main. This banner ad's not main content. Don't give Google the false indication that this is important content. Keep it on the outside. And then footer is at the bottom. Footer, and say footer goes here. Beautiful. Save, refresh, and I just get a bunch of unstylized regions, basically, lacking the SAS. Any questions on SAS? Oh, sorry, any questions on Slack? Pretty good. Following along. What's left is just to get these basic regions set up. So that first region was header. So I'm gonna open up a second terminal in VS Code. If you go to this little icon, split terminal view, and click it, you can now do other things in SAS. Like I want to do a quick PWD. Where am I? I am in the CSS folder. Yes, I want to CD and go into regions, and I want to create a header region. I want to touch underscore header dot SAS. and open it up. And, views, no, sorry, regions, open up header, perfect. Now I can talk to the header file. Hey, not the header file, sorry, the header region, the header element, if you will. I get silly here, background color red, just to turn it on, see what's going on. Save, refresh. No red. No, I definitely hit save. I hit refresh. What's going on? You should be definitely thinking, Jeff, you dum-dums. You need to import it into your table of contents. Just because you save something doesn't mean it's going to go in there. And because this is coming in from a different folder, I'm going to create another import, and I'm going to load in region/header. Save. Refresh. And now I see red. Now it's being imported correctly. Just because you make a partial doesn't mean SAS knows to include it. Perfect. This would be a good time to think about variables. You know, if I open up variables.sas, let's establish the color palette. I think I call them SYR blue something. SYR blue. Let's go to one of the last pages of this PDF. There we go. And I'm going to copy this hex value, put it in here. That's SYR blue. What else was there? SYR orange, red, and gray. SYR orange, SYR red, SYR gray. I'm just pre-writing these out so I don't forget. And then coming back, a little copy paste action. Here comes the orange, semicolon. Here comes the red. This is kind of fun to do, just setting up the color palette. I wish everything remained this fun. I like setting up my pieces. I don't know. Love the beginning of a project. Even though some people find this very tedious, I find like I'm setting up the pieces for success, setting up a scalable project. After that, what else? We have Roboto to use. Eventually, we're going to go get Roboto. I'm going to make a variable called, not Roboto. You should get in the habit of making your primary typeface in a variable called primary font, and then put in Roboto. For right now, I'm going to start with Arial, but I will import Google Fonts in 1 second. Is there a secondary typeface? No, I think I used Roboto everywhere. I was about to make a variable called Roboto. Well, what if down the road you don't like Roboto and you want to make it Helvetica or Arial? But now your variable everywhere across your entire project is called #Roboto. So you should be ambiguous with your variables. Keep them cleanly named so that you can change them to anything you want to, from Arial to Roboto fast. Okay, and I think we're good. I think I'm going to go into header, and instead of background color red, I'm just going to type in a flat black, but make sure everything is color white, and padding on all 4 sides, 1 rem. As soon as you introduce rem into this, think to yourself, what should you additionally do? What is this measurement based on? It is based on what? 1 times the root of what? 1 times the root of your body font size. Your body font size, I'm going to set this to 16px. Save, refresh. There comes the header. Beautiful. Okay, before I get deep into header, before I get deep into Showcase Trendy, banner, ad, and footer, let's go ahead and put in the other basic regions. Let's get those files set up. The Showcase is native to the home page, so I'm going to right now take the preliminary step and go into the, what do we got? The views. And I'm going to make a new file. I'm breaking here. Oh, no, that's not break. That's that's PWD. I'm in regions. I want to get out of regions, cd .. PWD, and back in my CSS. I'm going to change directory and go into views and make a, I want touch and make a, what, header? No, not header, home.sas file. And talk exclusively to the home view. because I want to make this showcase there for right now, and eventually trending will be there. Yeah, I think we're good. Okay, here comes what? Here comes period showcasa. It's Spanish for showcase. It is not. Don't repeat that. And the showcase is background hyphen color black. But yeah, let's keep it black. Definitely turn on color white so I can see any interior content. Save, refresh, and not getting it because I have yet to import it. Let's go back to the table of contents. Set up a new import because it's coming from a new folder called view/home. Save, refresh. There's showcase. Beautiful. What else? What else? This would be a good time to do responsive right away. Like, let's get this header content and showcase content centered and make it responsive before I get really, really deep into this project. What's missing? How am I going to make this responsive? How am I going to pull this content into the middle of a very large browser? You know, it's not very large, just a large or medium browser, and kind of semi-center it on a tablet and then become 100% on a mobile device. That would be a container box, a container div. I have a question from Dakir. Can you explain the difference between foundation and home files? Well, foundation just starts the website. It's not pointing to any specific page of my website. It's just general purpose things. Almost like, think of it, your global styles. Instead of calling it foundation, maybe you call this global. It's going to be body because body is going to be on every page of this website. We're going to make 2 files eventually here. It's not header specific. It's not showcase or trending or banner or footer specific. It's just general purpose. And container class would go here. I'm going to jump over to index.html and get into the header and say, hey, content inside header, you're going to be centered, contained in a box, a div class called container. And I'm going to put header goes here. I'm going to reuse container again inside showcase. Showcase content goes here. By the way, notice I'm tabbing. I am ruthlessly tabbing here, making sure I can see parent-child relationships. Trending is going to take advantage of div class container to push the content in off the edge. And same thing with footer and banner ad. Everyone's using container. This is like a utility class. And if once I put all these in, if I hit save and refresh, you're not going to see anything happen because the browser doesn't even know what the hell div class container does. Boom, boom. Okay, save, refresh, nothing happens because period container has not been defined. This will be in foundation because this is a reusable class called container. And just to start out with, what goes inside here? Well, width 100% goes inside here. And background color, I'm just going to put in a silly color here, pink. Save, refresh. And pink everywhere, but you can see pink inside the header is working. But nothing's responsive about this. Okay, so what's missing? How can I make the container change whether it's on a mobile device, on a tablet, on a medium desktop, or a large desktop? What's the magic? The magic is, the magic is the Sass mixin, but the real thing that's missing is a media query. Let me do a media query from complete scratch, and then I'll show you how to bring in that mixin. Okay, so what you could do is say @media, and you know what, since the media query and that mixin doesn't use all, and the word all can be misleading, so we're going to dive right into the parentheses of the viewport. These parentheses are talking to the viewport. The viewport is your body, your browser, your tablet, your window size, basically. And you put a measurement in here. Hey, viewport, are you at least a minimum width of, I'm going to guess, the mixin, I think, started with 768 pixels. And by the way, no space. Hey, viewport, are you at least 768 pixels? If you are, I'm just going to start with container. You're going to become background color orange, just for shits and giggles here. Save, refresh, and okay, yeah, I see it goes from mobile to tablet. And if I continue this, I'm gonna build this up and I'm gonna make it minimum width 1000 px. Hey container, you're going from orange to lime green. Save, refresh. So from pink to orange to lime green. Beautiful. And there's even a large, you can even adapt to a larger one, like minimum width 1200. This is like a large desktop, like a big screen. And I'll put in a silly color of aqua into this. Save, refresh. So we go from mobile to tablet to lime green to aqua, and that covers up everything. Well, this is a lot of work. This is a lot of typing, and it's not even layout based. So if layout based, you know, right here, this is my tablet. Hey container, I know you're trying to be width 100%, but I'm gonna make you width 96%. Well, let's watch what happens. Save, refresh. Okay, but off to the right side, it's not filling up 100% of the available space. To center it, you do the margin property. Two values are needed. Margin top and bottom is 0, and left and right is auto. This is short for doing this. When you see 4 values, it's top, right, bottom, and left. Auto means just take the remaining space, divide by 2, and auto distribute the remainder space to the left and the right. But when you're redundant, you don't have to type it out like that. You can do 2 values. And by the way, do you have to put px in there? No. You can leave it off. When it's 0, you can just do a flat 0. Save, refresh. Ooh, see what happened? The 96% is now centered, and let's just pay attention to the header, at least for right now. But when we hit a desktop, what we can do is say, hey container, you stay at 1000 px. Save, refresh. You stay at 1000 on desktop, and look what happens. The interior containers stay at 1000. We auto distribute leftover space to the left and onto the right side. Notice I don't have to repeat margin 0 px auto. That stays. I don't need to repeat that and repeat it again. I can let that cascade up to the larger size. Only change things when you need to change them. Okay, only change things when you need to change them. Now, I will add in width 1200 px to this larger one just to give it a little bit more room on a large desktop. But see, boom, look at those background colors. I love keeping the background colors on as long as possible. Now, you might be wondering, well, why is header pushed in and showcase, trending, banner, and footer not pushed in? Any guesses? Don't answer this on Slack. Think to yourself, why is header pushed in and not the other ones? It's because header, in my header SAS, I have padding 1 rem turned on, and that's optional. Okay, so establish your colors. I think the next step is to just really quickly establish the rest of the regions, just the base files and the base properties of the regions, like showcase. Showcase is on the home page, and what am I going to do? Showcase. I'm going to turn on a silly background color so I can just look really closely at you. I'm going to do magenta. See if this burns in my magenta burns my eyeballs. Showcase. What's going on? Save. Refresh. Can't see showcase. Magenta. Where the hell are you? Any guesses? Guesses might be. Do I have? Yeah, I have home turned on. It's because because trending is technically on the outside of container, so container's background color takes over. I guess this would be a good time to turn off container background color. Here you have a question. Just so I am sure, when making a page response, you want to start with the mobile first. Exactly, here. Yes, you want to get in the habit of declaring your defaults first, and your defaults technically are mobile first. Without you even explicitly writing something about a minimum width, they are assumed to be mobile first because, hey, background color pink for container, you stay pink until something cascades on top of you, until another minimum width is reached, then background color changes to orange. So you're going to find, we're going to do a lot of work upstairs in the code. We're going to declare a lot of defaults first before you start declaring specific little changes to your code. Oh, hold on. Now, timeout. This is perfect. I'm staring at the container again one more time here. Again, imagine doing responsive styles for all the other regions. You would have to retype this kind of stuff over and over and over again, and you're going to make a typo. I'm going to make a typo. Okay, even though I've done this 1,000 times. So I gave you beast mode, gave you a beast mixin, and that's on the Google Classroom, somewhere in Module 2. Classwork, Module 2. Where are we? Module 2. Beast mixin, responsive beast mixin. This is where you want to copy in. Oh my God. How can I get in here? Just view material. That would help. Yes. Perfect. Now don't copy everything. I gave you an example on how to use the beast mixin down below. So just go from beginning of mixin to closing of mixin. And that's going to go into mixin sass. When you paste it in, it doesn't come in with tabs. It kind of comes in flat. So take the extra couple seconds and tab in some interior pieces. And what needs to be moved back is the closing statement. So this beast mixin is called breakpoint. And you pass it a parameter called class. You give it an SM or a medium MD or an LG, and it comes in here and says, hey class, are you small, are you medium, are you large? If so, build this media query and return all the interior content that you supplied. So an example for this container, if I go back to foundation and rip this out for 1 second, I'll retype it. You can clean up your code by utilizing nesting and all that fun stuff. Here it comes. Hey, regular container, yeah, you're with 100% background color pink, but I want to include a new breakpoint about you. Look how I typed that out. It's at include. At include what? Include everything about the breakpoint mixin, but I'm passing in an SM for tablet. On a tablet, what do I want to happen to this container class? I want to change it to width 96% and introduce margin 0px auto, 0 auto. If I can type correctly, oh my God, I'm fumbling over typing. Save, refresh, that goes and grabs the mixin from mixins.sass, brings it in, and writes out the content. Let's just follow the path of what happens. I'm feeding it SM, and I'm feeding it this content. So this SM goes to the mixin definition and says, ooh, okay, SM, you're now known as class. Hey class, are you extra small? No. Are you small? Yes. That's true. Well, build out at media. Literally build out all this stuff. Build out a media query with minimum width 768 and return the interior content, and that was width 96%, margin 0 auto. Build it out. If it was medium or large, it'll build out larger ones. And if you don't supply a parameter, it's going to trigger this else. And it's going to trigger a warning, probably somewhere maybe in your terminal. It's going to warn you, hey, breakpoint, you need to supply a parameter of extra small, small, medium, large. You don't have to declare extra small when we do this because it's assumed. Like all this stuff right up here, width and background color pink, is already mobile first. It's just defaults. So you're wasting your time if you do the extra small breakpoint. Okay, but back to that point. Sometimes you got to do a little extra small trick to make it negate something. But for right now, we're gonna be very basic. That's tablet. Here comes at include breakpoint in parentheses. I'm gonna do a medium. Hey medium, what's gonna happen? We're gonna become width 1000 px. And I'm gonna copy this and include one more time, large. And we're gonna make this 1200. No 0px auto. And no silly background colors. I'm gonna even turn off this background color. because we know what's going to happen. But look how clean this is. Oh my God, you can write probably 25%, oh no, sorry, 75% less code by using this beast of a mixin. And now this goes along with how you nest things. It's very clean and straightforward. SM, medium, and large is very clean and straightforward. This even goes with, if you ever get into Bootstrap and other frameworks, these breakpoints, these viewports, minimum widths, if you will, match Bootstraps. Save, and if I refresh, and oh, look at all this. What is going on? This is actually what's out in my index.html. Error, undefined mixin breakpoint on line 8 of foundation and some other places. What is that telling you? Someone chime into Slack. What is that telling me? Undefined mixin breakpoint on line 8. This is telling me that something is wrong and Sass is freaking the hell out. What do we think? Everyone's waking up. This is almost common sense, but this is why I love Sass. It's giving you the heads up, whether this is in the terminal or in the index.html. It's saying, I don't know what breakpoint is. But yeah, okay, Dakir, you're on it. Did you import mixin? I put mixins in here. I created the file called mixins.sass. I put breakpoint in there. I hit save. But yes, to your point, I probably did not import Sass. So while I'm here in this base import, I should probably finish this off. Mixins come second, and variables can come third. Okay, do they have to go third? No. But these three definitely have to come first before I start talking about things in my foundation. Foundation is where that container class is being talked about. Boom. Good job, Doc. Here, save, refresh, and oh, look at all this. I get everything centered and it's responsive, all that fun stuff. I took away background color pink, but you can see that all the questions are, sorry, all the containers are centered. How do you tune into the live coding session? Oh, help her out. Someone post a link to the YouTube live session. The hack, yeah, post the link to the Hack Upstate. Oh, I could probably do this even faster here. YouTube.com, Hack Upstate videos, and go back to Slacky Slack, and wrong channel, Hack Upstate. Boom, CIC students. Oh, someone beat to me. Linda, you beat me. Oh my God, that was a race. I thought I could have beat her. Damn it. Anyways. Okay, so back to the thing. We got all of our base components, base partials loaded in. Things are flowing. Things are good. What does it look like in the browser? Browser. I just closed my browser. Oh my God. I got to reopen my index. Sloppy, sloppy, sloppy. There it goes. Okay, perfect. I'm going to keep going. I'm going to make a trending section, the banner section, the footer section really fast. And then we'll get into the guts. So home, you have a trending region, trending section. Yes, silly color, not magenta, but I'll get funky with lime green or something. Color white, optionally. No, I'm not doing color white because eventually the text will be black. Boom, there's green. Banner ad. Banner is going to be reusable, a reusable region. It's going to be on both the home page and the single page. So I'm going to put banner ad into regions. Okay, I'm getting sloppy. I was about to do that in code. I'm going to zoom out just one second. Where the hell am I on my terminal? PWD. I'm in views. CD .. get out of views. CD go into regions and touch and build out a banner. No, underscore banner .sass partial. And then I can open up banner and do, now what's my class? I can't remember from index.html. I think it was just called banner. Yes, look how nice and simple that is. So period banner, background color, throw in pink. I like to work with these colors. It's not working. Okay, back to the thing. Hopefully you know why it's not working, because it's not loaded in. It's a new region, region slash banner. It's a little tedious to update the table of contents, but eventually it becomes second nature. Look at this pink, beautiful. let's finish it up with the footer. I'm still in the regions folder, so I'm going to touch and make an underscore footer.sass partial and open up footer. Hey footer, background color, light gray for right now until I know otherwise. Save, refresh, and it's not going to work because I didn't link to it. Bring it into the table of contents. Like I said, it's tedious up front to get all these table of content pieces, all these little partials working, but once you got them, boom, 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 you are flowing. Okay, this doesn't look like we're flowing right now, but if someone looks over your shoulder, if like a family member comes into your room and looks at what's being coded right now on the big TV screen or something, people are going to look at you a little weird, but you just tell them, I'm setting up a project to be reusable and scalable. Any questions in Slack? We're good. I think we're following along. Excellent question so far by Dakir. But if anyone else has any important questions, now's the time. This is the time. This is the moment where I'm going to start diving into showcase, trending, banner, and footer starting with header and going all the way down top to bottom. Karen, you have a question. If you imported just the folder, would it still work? And the answer is no. The most important thing about these imports is the name of the partial. So the partial name is what SAS is really looking for. By us putting regions in there first, you're just specifying a path. Okay, it would be beautiful in theory to have SAS just grab everything and put it in, but things don't work like that. You got to be very specific and literal about what you want. Eva, you have a question. Could you go back to Foundations page for a second? Foundation SAS partial. Okay, let's look at this beautiful little beast. The only thing I have inside this partial is things about my body, which is just yellow and font size. And then container is being defined in this space. Let me zoom into container so you can see this kind of larger. And this thing is now beautifully set up for reusability. I'm going to use, you saw me, I use container in the header, in the showcase, in the trending, banner, and footer. I'm going to use it on the single template in the main article area, but I'm going to reuse it for header and footer there as well. So this thing is going to be used 6 or 7 times by the time we're done. And there, that sentence is going to be used a number of times. That's the very definition of what a class is. A class is an object that is supposed to be used more than once. If I use an ID, which you get into a little bit with JavaScript, an ID usually indicates to a browser and to even a programmer that something is being used once and it's unique. But classes are made to be used more than once. Good. Like I said, you can code along if you want to, but expect I'm going to go a little fast here. We're already like, what, 45 minutes in, and we're just in color blocks. So I'm going to start hitting the gas pedal a little bit, and you're going to see this really come together. All right. Header. Let's get some children into the header. What's inside the header? We got what is inside the header? Let's look at the PDF. At the top, scrolled up, we got a menu, a logo, and a search icon. Now I'm about to say, oh, let's go get Font Awesome, but I had some Font Awesome issues last week in our live coding session with my internet connection or whatever. So if we do use Font Awesome, we're going to download the SVGs and import them as image sources, just to break that need of bringing it in. So to get the bars icon, we are going to go to fontawesome.com. We're not going to link to it. I would love to link to it though, because we have multiple. We have this little clock icon. We have social media icons in the footer that need to be brought in. It's going to get a little tedious to keep downloading them, but screw it. We are going to download them individually. I'm just going to start with the header stuff. Fontawesome.com, across the primary navigation, go to the icons page and search for menu. And it's actually not called menu, it's called bars. But I'm going to click on bars, click on it, And this is why I love this page. It gives you all information, gives you previews, even gives you in the wild previews of what this icon looks like. I've pointed that out before. I love that. But what we need to do is go up to the top informational bar, and we're not going to download the HTML. We're going to download the SVG file. And yes, click agree, and it goes up into your downloads folder. I'm going to just click on the little. What I do often is I click on this little arrow and hit show in Finder, like open it up in a folder finder view, and I can hit copy, Control C or Command C, and paste. But since I have so many bars in my downloads folder, it puts a little parenthesis 3 after that. I'm going to clean this up, and you know what? I'm gonna clean this up to, no, let's keep it bars hyphen solid. It tells you what the name is. Let's keep it like that. Beautiful. While I'm here, I'm going to get the search icon. I'm going to search for search. This sounds a little weird to say, but click on search, do the same exact thing. Got to find the search icon, go across the top, and click the little download SVG icon. And click yes, agree, and show in Finder, copy, and paste over. And I take the parenthesis 2 out of the way. Beautiful. Search hyphen solid. While I'm here, I'm going to need the Syracuse.com logo. I uploaded a zip to Google Classroom Module 2 called Syracuse.com Assets. So you can go ahead and download that zip, open it up, and more importantly, get all the stuff out of that folder and bring it over into your images folder and paste. And when you paste, your images folder should look roughly like this. It should have some JPEGs. It should have some, I got the bars from before, got lacrosse JPEG, got Syracuse com logo SVG. You can barely see it's a white logo with an orange dot, would be for the dot part, but it's some other JPEGs that we're going to use. All right, so this would be a perfect time to start loading in those children into the header container. So what do we got? We got an image, images slash, what was it, bars hyphen solid SVG, and I'm going to call this menu button in the alt. What else? We have an image for Syracuse com logo SVG, and the alt can be Syracuse.com logo. And we have an image for the search hyphen solid.svg. This is the thing I love about VS Code. Since we dragged our folder into VS Code, when I do images slash, it reads the images folder for me because I just specified the images slash. And then if I type out SE, it's starting to make suggestions based on what's going on. And if you find the right one, you can hit tab on it. Oh, wrong one. That was the wrong one. SER, search hyphen solid, tab, perfect. And I can type out search icon. Save, refresh. What's this gonna look like? Oh my God. I just see black everywhere. What's going on? What is going on? Okay, what's going on is there's a big, humongous menu icon staring you. You can't see it, but it's a black menu icon scaled up to 100%. Syracuse.com logo is almost scaled up to 100%. And the search icon is here in the black. What can you do to control this? Well, first step in all of this is to start, first I want to make these things clickable with an anchor element, and then I want to style them. So, what's the best way? Put the A tag around first, or stylize the interior image. I'm going to put the A tag around this first. A tag opens up, A tag closes. I'm going to take the closing A tag and wrap it around the menu and tab in. And I'm just going to put a placeholder in there, href equals, and then prep it for some JavaScript down the road. This is called my menu, btn. Okay, around the logo is going to go an anchor element. This is where I'll put in the real thing, https www.syracuse.com. But take the closing A, move it around the logo, clean up my tabs, And then the search is almost like the menu BTN. I'm going to open up an A tag, but call it search BTN and close out the image. Save, refresh, does nothing. Okay, there's nothing different. It's just they have hyperlinks around them now. Stare at that structure for a couple seconds. I got 3 anchor element children. Each has an image inside it. Be nice to clean up these attributes a little bit just to make them left oriented. I love doing this. I love making things as readable as possible, even though it kind of makes the screen go. Let me turn off my terminal. Toggle my terminal off. Can I? No? Doesn't want to? Okay, I'll just force it. I'm inside the header. Inside the container is now pushing in these children, the 3 anchor element children. I'm going to go back to header sass and just flip the color. I'm going to see where, if I go to header sass, instead of background color black, I'm going to turn on background color cyan, just something obnoxious. Refresh. Yeah, see? This is what happens when you turn on better background colors. You can see gigantic menu, gigantic Syracuse.com, and search icon. All right, so any guesses on Slack? What am I going to do? How am I going to control this? How am I going to make this smaller? By default, SVGs scale up to 100% of the available space until you tell it otherwise. So how are we going to do this? How are we going to make these tinier? And how are we going to make them sit side by side next to each other? That's our second problem. Let's get our first problem. Let's just make some tiny children. Linda answered with width. Yeah, width of what? Width of how? What are we going to do with width? Who else? What would you do staring at this? There's a number of things you could do, so there's not necessarily one right way or one wrong way. Dakir, mess with the parent container. Well, okay, now if I mess with the parent container, I run the risk of ruining the container for everything else in this entire document. So container, I'm going to try to just leave it alone as much as possible. But you are correct, Dakir, you're close to it. Mess with something above. Linda, yes, width of the images, correct. That's one thing we have to tackle. These SVGs need to be scaled down to something specific so they don't fly out of control. Karen, each item like the menu button and search. Yeah, the width of each item. Yeah, we have to control the menu button width and the search button width. Let's start there. Let's start by controlling those two now. How are we going to do this? Well, I am going to bring in a class into this, into the image. And I'm just going to call this an icon. Or for right now, I'm going to call it header icon. Header icon. And I'm going to reuse that class a second time down in the search icon. Because if you look at the PDF, those two icons are exactly the same. They're both white. They're more or less the same height, more or less the same width. So I'm going to go to header, and I'm going to talk about period header icon. I'm going to put in background color black just so we can see this. Save, does that work? Refresh, okay, yep. But the width needs to be controlled. I'm going to make the width for right now 30px and height auto just in case. Save, refresh. Okay, now look, they look like little black dots. They're black icons on a black background, so black probably was not the best background color to use. There they are. So that scales them down, doesn't make them side by side, but we'll get to that problem. What else? The logo. The logo needs to be scaled, so I'm going to put class equals logo into the image element for the logo and talk to the logo. Hey logo, I know you're trying to be big. You're going to scale yourself down to, I'm going to guess, 150 50px. Let's just see what this looks like. Height, auto, save, refresh. And with 100, yeah, it's pretty good. It's a little small. Maybe 200. Save, refresh. There we go. Cool. That's a start without getting super specific. Now, how am I going to send this image to the right side of the container and the center, the logo, and put it in the center, and the menu icon to the left? Any guesses? What's that magic? On Slack, how am I going to do this? Oh, as everyone chimes in, I'm going to answer Dakir's question. Does the height auto say obey the height of the parent class? And the answer is no. Dakir, the height auto means, well, the width will be scaled down to 200 pixels wide, and then the height will automatically scale down to whatever proportional height that it's supposed to be. If I don't put height auto, sometimes I run the risk. Watch what happens when I put in a silly value. I'm going to put 500px. Don't do this, but watch. Save, refresh. And it doesn't do what I was expecting it to, but it stretches out the space that logo takes up, and usually it'll stretch out the image. Granted, SVGs are a little different. So height auto means don't be something specific. Just automatically figure out your proportional height. And you guys are correct. Karen, Linda, Eva, Anna, justified content, flexbox. Yes, 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 yes. Now, who am I going to apply flex to? If I looked at this HTML, who gets the flex property? Well, I would say container gets the flex, but I don't want to ruin container. I don't want to ruin that because we're gonna have some other children. We're using container all over the place. So if we put display flex onto container, it's gonna be crazy. So I'm gonna add in a second class called header row. Now there's two ways you could do this. I could take header row and add it as a div class and put display flex into that. Or I could apply it as a secondary class. You know what? I'll probably put it in as its own div. Let's not get sloppy. Let's keep everything very clean. Even if that means we have an extra div for right now. I'm going to open up that div, header row. Here comes the 3 children. I'm even going to collapse these children because this is getting too tall to look at. And close the row. And put a little note to myself. This is the row. And this is the container. And my children are tabbed inside, and row is tabbed inside. Beautiful. Look at that. Save, refresh. Doesn't do anything, but header row needs to be defined inside the SAS file. Hey, header row. What's so special about you? Well, you're going to take your children and create a flexible layout. Display, flex. Instead of stacking the blocks, make them display side by side. Deck here, yeah, secondary classes is a new concept. Yeah, I held back. It was a way of avoiding redundancy, but it's a little too advanced right now. So my children, boom, they're sitting side by side. They're already kind of sitting side by side because they had smaller widths. What's the magical property that makes them display spread out? I can never remember the property off the top of my head. Anna, you were correct. Justify content with space between, but I forget what it always is, so I always look up CSS Flexbox into Google. And I go to the CSS tricks page about a complete guide to Flexbox. I click on it, scroll down. I don't read things. I mean, you could read if you really want to. I look for the preview graphic of what I'm after. And I'm after this, justify content and space between my children. The one child goes all the way to the left, the third child goes all the way to the right, and the middle child is left in the middle. So justify hyphen content, space hyphen between. Boom, I love this property. Oh my God. Save, refresh. My children, they're spread out now. Beautiful, perfect. And it's even responsive too. Well, it's nothing to do with responsible, but there's room for all 3 children to exist across the same row. Cool. I think this would be a good time to clean up the header. Not background color cyan, but black. Background color black. Can't spell black apparently. Boom. Save, refresh. No need for background color red on the header icons. I'll just do a little slash slash just in case I want to bring that back. But now my icons. My icons. Oh, but by the way, I'm going to bring that back. One more thing though. I want to vertically center my children. Look at my logo. My logo's up towards the top by default. It's pushing up against the padding wall, padding 1 rem, but it's not being centered inside here. Let me zoom in so you can see this. I want the logo down here, but it's at the very top. What else do I have to add to this header row to make these things vertically centered? Align them, Karen says. Well, let's go back and look at Flexbox. Flexbox has another thing, another sub-property, if you will, about vertically centering children. It's called align items. I don't want them at the start. I don't want them at the very bottom. Yes, I want them at the center. No, I do not want to stretch them, and no, I do not want to align them along the baseline of the text. I want to align items. I got to even copy it right from there, :center. Yeah, flex. Yeah, you're making the children side by side. Yeah, you're putting the space between, and you also are vertically centering them. How beautiful is this? Save, refresh, and it's kind of in the center. I might have to monkey around with it a little bit more, but it's fine for right now. The icons, they don't need red, but they do need white. And I wish you could do something like this. Hey, header icon, color white. Save, refresh, doesn't work. I wish you could do something like fill white. Doesn't work because the browser can't edit a linked file. It's just all that the browser's doing is it's bringing in the SVG file, but it can't actually go into the SVG file and start doing things. There's like a wall between that. So 2 ways of doing that. I was mentioning this in class. You could, don't do this, but watch. You could, if you really want to, go into your images folder and look at, where the hell is it? Oh, bar solid. I was looking for something about menu. You can copy all this code and don't do this, because this is sloppy, this is messy. Go into the menu button, get rid of image source, and paste in all the SVG code. Save, refresh. And then you can also give the SVG a class called, what the hell was it? Header icon. Header icon. Save, refresh. And then header icon, you could have, it's not color white. Let's see what happens with color white. Save, refresh. Oh, it is? I wasn't expecting that. I was expecting fill white. Save, refresh. And yeah, I guess color white. But anyways, that's a longer way. And then plus, look at it. I just barfed up. I just vomited up all this code, and it's even hard to collapse it and get rid of it all. So I would only do this if I really was in a pinch. Instead, I am going to undo 1,000 times and get my image back. Yeah, save. So the way that I want you to do is go into bars-solid and find the opening SVG element. There's the opening SVG, ARIA hidden, focusable, data prefix, data icon, class, role, XML namespace, view box, and right there I'm going to put in fill equals hashtag FFF, 6 Fs, or really you can do 3, but save, refresh. That didn't work. What's going on? Save, refresh. Fill current color. Get out of here. Is that doing anything? Save, refresh. Bars solid. What's going on, buddy? Do you need all this class stuff? No. I'm just going to rip out things. There it goes. Some of that class stuff was ruining the project for whatever reason. That class, everything inside the class attribute, SVG inline, font awesome, font awesome bars, font awesome W, I don't know what 14 is. I'd get rid of all that. And now my fill white works correctly. I'm going to do the same thing with the search solid. Search solid SVG, I'm going to eliminate all this class stuff that font awesome put in there, and I'm going to put in my own fill equals hashtag FFF. This is in the opening SVG element, not the interior path or the closing SVG. And no, it's not working. Why is it not working? Save. Refresh. Hey, search icon. What's going on, buddy? Search icon, I have fill. Oh, get rid of this fill current color. Get out of here, current color. You're destroying the fill of the path. There's the search icon showing up. So do a little cosmetic surgery here. Put in your own fill and delete the path fill so that this path listens to its parent SVG element. Dakir, do you have to use full or do you mean fill? Could you use color whites? And I thought you can. I have to look that up. I thought you could use color whites, but you can use color white if you link to Font Awesome and you use the, if you link to it and you use this this icon class, okay, this means it's almost like text and you can get away with color whites and background color. Any font properties can now be applied to the icon inside your menu button or something like that. But as soon as you hit download and import the SVG, you can't use color white. It's no longer a piece of text. It's a literal image being imported into it. So pros and cons. I'm importing the SVGs the manual way so that I don't keep trying to, every time I hit reload, I have to reach out to Font Awesome and load in 5,000 icons into the browser's memory, and I had problems with that last live session for whatever reason. Okay, boom, boom, boom. So modify your icons a little bit, and you'll be pretty good. The best way is to link to Font Awesome. What is going on? Why is this like this? What are you doing? Okay, you're good. I don't know. Container was having a problem. Looking nice. Okay, here comes Showcase, trending banner and footer. I'm gonna speed up a little bit. Showcase. Ooh, there were some children inside Showcase. Showcase container. Let's think about it. There was 5 articles. 5 articles inside container. First had an article, and we didn't really get to use this, but I called it primary. We haven't really done much with it. So it was article. I can't spell article. Article.primary tab. Why isn't my tabs working? My caps lock on or something? Article. Oop, there's the tab. There's the caps. Why I can't write out? I'm having tab issues. I must have turned it off somehow. Well, whatever. I'll type it myself. Article with class equals primary. And primary article goes here. Close out the article element. And then we go down to secondary and tertiary, but first we had Showcase row. I'm going to try this again. No. What happened? I lost my Emmet or something. I don't know why. Why would I lose Emmet? Why do I have a red marker up here for header? That's bothering me. What's going on up here? Who's upset up here? Oh my. Do I have terminal issues? No. I'm gonna close this stuff down. I don't know. I need Emmet to speed up. I can't just keep typing things manually. I live in the first world problems here. I can't type things manually. I need to have a shortcut. But okay, here we go. Where am I? In a live folder somewhere. I'm falling apart here, all because of Emmet. Syracuse.com. No. Where did I put this? Careers and code. Yeah, module 2 here. Syracuse.com live. Syracuse. Oh my God. I got folders within folders here. This is not good. But anyways, turn things back on. I will do a split terminal. And on the left one, pwd, I'm in the Syracuse.com folder, change directory, go into CSS, and turn on the Sass machine. Sass watch, style.scss colon style.css. Perfect. And now if I go back to index.html, will it behave for me? I'm still curious why I have a red mark right there, but period showcase hyphen row tab. Oh, okay, we're back. Look at, thank you VS Code for making my life a mess for 2 seconds, but we're back. Showcase row. Inside showcase row, there was an article called secondary. And I'm going to just put in a number 2 inside it. Next to secondary was another little parent holding 4 little children. And that was called showcase hyphen right. By the way, do you have to call them showcase right in showcase row? No, but when you revisit this project, these names, these class names will make a lot more sense. And inside this are 4 articles. I'm going to do article.tertiary times 4 with interior content cache sign. Oops. And that will spit out 1, 2, 3, 4 every time. Article with tertiary class times 4 children. And inside the article is going to be number 1, 2, 3, 4. Once I hit tab. Oh, look at that. Oh, it's so beautiful when you get to work, but don't worry about making that work perfectly the first time. When I hit save, refresh, boom, primary, and then a number 2 for the secondary, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 for the tertiaries. Let's start with primary. We didn't really get deep into primary during class. There's a few pieces of primary. There is a gigantic image inside primary. Let's get the image in there. Image tab, images slash what? Lacrosse. Which one was in the PDF? I can't remember. That would help. That one. And what is that called? That is called lacrosse something. Lacrosse 2? No. Lacrosse hyphen large. Yeah. Lacrosse hyphen large .jpg. Alt tag could be celebration after a goal was scored or something. I don't know. I'm just making that up. Save. Let's see what happens. Refresh. Okay, gigantic image, and it's spilling out. Okay, it is trying to be like 900 pixels wide. It's natural pixel dimensions. That's what it's trying to be. And we haven't done this yet. This would be a good time. How do you think I could get this image to fit the primary article space? How can I get it to stay within this space? On Slack, answer this question. Right now, the image element, the lacrosse image is just being like, woo, I'm 900 pixels wide. How do you think I can force it to be basically 100% of whatever the primary article is width-wise? What can I do here? Think about it. I got a source, I got an alt. How can I force this image to, yeah, Linda, be responsive? How can I make it responsive? What am I going to write here to make the magic happen? Oh, this is a race. This is a race. Who's going to win? The image is like, woo, I'm 900 pixels. I'm going to be as big as I can. Until you, what? Doc here says, tell the parent to control their children image inside. You could, yeah. You could write something about primary IMG. Okay, let me execute that. You are correct. You are 90% correct, Doc here, but I lost all my tabs. Where am I? I'm in home, showcase. I could say inside showcase, hey primary, you got an image element inside you. What am I gonna write? I'm gonna write out width 100% height auto, as in, hey image, I want you to be 100% of your parent. Hey parent, primary, you have nothing declared about you, so therefore you're gonna be 100% of your parent. Hey showcase, you have nothing width-wise declared, So how wide is the showcase? The showcase, well, it jumped over the container parent. And the container is actually what's dictating the width right now. The div class container. Save, refresh, boom. Scales that lacrosse image down to 100% of its parent. And the container, if you look at it closely, think about it, the parent of the primary is div class container, even though you don't see it here. But I mentioned you're 90% correct. If you look at the PDF, we're going to have to do the same thing for the secondary image, the tertiary images, the trending images, and even the single article template on the next page. We're going to scale that to 100% of the available space. We got some scaling to do a lot of different places. So on Slack, what do you think is the best way of handling making images 100% height auto all the time, and try to declare it once? What can we do? Insert the Jeopardy noise here. Linda says for all images. Shockwave says mixing. Linda says class. Dak here says put a class in the foundation file. Yeah, okay, there you go. You guys are getting that. Okay, let me translate all of that. You all are correct in one way or another. Let's give it these images a responsive class name. And the purpose of this one class is to scale the width to 100% in height auto. If I go back to the HTML and say, hey, lacrosse image, here's your source, here's your alt, here's your class. And you know what? I'm going to call this responsive-img. Class for the image, responsive-img. And that class is going to be defined kind of near the container. It's going to be a reusable thing. This is going to be in foundation. And it's like a utility class. It's going to get some work done multiple times. Hey, period responsive img. By the way, this is in foundation Sass because my container is a utility div for utility class and body is just general. Responsive img, your sole purpose is to always scale up to width 100% height auto. Save, refresh, and of course it works, and it's going to work multiple times throughout my document. Perfect. Questions about that, creating like a utility class. When I say utility class, I mean it's a class that's going to be used more than once, a lot of times, and it has a specific purpose, a specific utility. It's scaling up images to 100% of available space. And notice the class name, responsive-img. When you look at that class name, without you even knowing too much about this, but imagine this 1 week from now, 1 month from now, you're going to look at that class and know exactly what the purpose of that is. It makes my images responsive, makes them scalable. Okay. Remaining questions about that? It's 2:21 p.m. We're moving kind of slowly, but we'll get through the home page definitely. Okay. How do I get text on top of this image? How do I get that headline and other little bits about the headline? How do I get the sports orange thing and the headline and the subheadline and posted and the author? How do I get these bits on top of the image? Okay, there's a couple ways of doing it. Here's an ugly way of doing it. I'm going to go into my showcase article after the image. Now I'm going to put out an H2 element. Don't do this, just watch. Here comes H2 and title goes here. Just start with this. Save, refresh, boom. There's title goes here. I don't know. Now wait a minute. Like, what's this? Where's this space coming above and below? Where's that coming from? That reminds me, I need to do my mini reset. My normalize doesn't eliminate font properties of like margin, so I got to do my own H1, H2, H3, H4, H5, H6, and paragraph, and while we're at it, a UL and an LI. And set them back to margin 0, padding 0, We're going to even do font colon inherit, which means just strip out font size and font families and font weights. It just eliminates all the font properties. Look how title just goes back to basic Times New Roman 12px with no margin. This just flushes out all the existing properties, because without that, watch what happens. Let me take that away. Save, refresh. It keeps font size, it keeps font weight. I want to say, you know what, just wipe it all away. I will control all of that. And technically, inherit means take away your existing values and inherit whatever your parent is doing with font properties. And the super parent right now is the body, and it's declaring font size 16. It's not declaring anything else. It's almost like a release. I release existing font properties, and it's going to inherit whatever is going on above it parent-wise. Okay, back to my H1. Sorry, my H2. My H2 is down below. It doesn't know it's supposed to go on top of the image until you give it special powers. And that special power is, where the hell am I, is position absolute. So if I come in here to, where am I, primary H2, primary H2 inside the showcase. Yes, you, now watch this. I'm going to do, this is the bad way, don't do this. Hey, position absolute. Hey, H2, you're absolutely going somewhere specific. You are absolutely going, I'm going to say 20 pixels off the bottom edge of your relative parent. And you're going to go 20 pixels off the left edge of your relative parent. Save, refresh. Trent, headline, where'd you go? Headline, you were just there. Where are you? Headline went all the way down here. Oh my God, you can't see it, but it's at the very bottom of my entire parent. And we haven't done this too much in class, but when you use position absolute, you're going to get burned a few times, because what these measurements are really based on, bottom and left, they're based on the measurements off of its relative parent. And who's the parent of the H2? Well, it's the primary class, the primary article. But the browser doesn't know that the primary article is the parent, the relative parent. Okay, so then it goes up the tree. Hey, container, are you my relative parent? And container's like, I'm not a relative parent. And then it finally goes up to the body element, or the section element, and then the body element. And the body element is always its default relative parent. The body is just like where it all stops. So that 2020 right there, 20 pixels off the bottom edge and 20 pixels off the left edge, is being aligned with the body parent. Until you say, hey, primary, you got some children inside you, you got some absolute children inside you, you need to step up to the plate and be the relative parent. So that these measurements are based on wherever you are relatively located in the document. So hey, primary, if you're up towards the top of the document, well then these measurements are based off of generally where you are up towards the top. If the primary article is in the footer or like way down below or somewhere else in the document, well then these measurements will be based on that relative location. Okay, so when you have an absolute child, you need to declare a relative parent. You can't assume the browser will do it, because it will go all the way up, it will go all the way up the tree and find the body element as its default. And look at it, look what happens to that H2. It's now 20 pixels off the bottom and 20 pixels off the top. So if you can understand absolute and relative like that, boom, you're going in the right direction. However, if you're already thinking what I'm thinking, I'm like, oh my God, I have, in the PDF, we have sports as a label, we have an H2, we have a paragraph, description or summary, and then we have some little meta bits down below. I can't absolute position all 4 children at the same exact time. We need to do what? How can I group 4 child pieces together and then position the one group, the one box? Uh-oh. Jack here is yelling, no! What's going on? Uh-oh. Did I cut out? Uh-oh. Did I cut out? Uh-oh. Refresh the page. Still going. On Slack, let me know if I'm back. Let me know if I cut back in or something. Uh-oh. This is the problems of streaming, and I usually have a reliable internet connection. Am I back? Are we hearing me? I can see you. Yes, you are back. You can hear me. Perfect. Okay. Anyways, to my point, before I cut out, I don't want to position every single child inside this primary area. I don't want to pick up a P tag. I don't want to pick up an H3 for the category or an H4 for the meta bits down below. I don't want to keep doing all this manual labor and figuring out the measurements as well. So the problem would be, or sorry, the solution would be eventually, well, first I'm going to have an H3 with a category inside it, and then a P element with a description goes here, a summary goes here, and an H4 with meta smaller bits. Wait, what is it? It's timestamp and author goes here. Save. Okay, now to my point. I don't want to pick up all my children and absolute position them all at once individually. The best way would be to make a div box called, I don't know, called article text. Article text isn't the greatest name. And put the children into article text. And the sole purpose of article text right now is, yeah, group these, but also be absolute positioned inside the primary element. So if I hit save and refresh right now, nothing really happens. But if I go back over and say, hey, H2, no, I'm not going to absolute position H2. I'm going to take article hyphen text, the entire set of 4 children, and absolute position them to be bottom. Now I'm going to convert to rems. Bottom 1 rem, left 1 rem. It's equivalent of 16 px. Save, refresh. There goes all the children. And you know what? Silly color. Background color, lime green. Save, refresh. Look what happens. It picks up that entire article text box that's wrapped around the 4 children and moves the entire set and anchors it towards the bottom 1 rem and left 1 rem. Position absolute. These measurements are based off of the primary relative location, the primary article. Does that make sense? Look how cool that is. Before I figured out how to do a group like that, I used to absolute position individual children. And in my head, I was screaming, I'm like, oh my God, isn't there a better way of handling this? And it's like, oh, duh, just wrap a little mini parent around the children and then pick up that mini parent and park that into various positions. By the way, bottom, you can also do top 1 rem. Let's see what happens. Any guesses? Well, it makes it go 1 rem off the top edge of its relative parent. You can also do the right instead of the left. And it goes top right, or you can go back to bottom. Bottom 1 rem, right 1 rem. Save, refresh. You can move it around. If you do all 4 at the same time, it gets a little confusing. I think the last 2 properties take cascading power, but don't do that. Always declare 2 out of the available 4. So I'm going to make that bottom and left 1 rem. Questions? Pretty cool. And nothing responsive about that, because that's going to stay. Now, hold on. There is a responsive thing. That's the homepage desktop. If I go to homepage, If I go to homepage mobile, it's pushed off. It's not on top of the image. Oh, sneaky. I'm sneaky. I actually designed this myself, so I can only have myself to blame for that. How do you think I can make it absolute on tablet, but have that article text lime green box go back down to its default location on mobile? What would you write? Let's think about that. How do we get it parked on top only if something is special? Well, you should right now definitely be thinking about the mix-in called breakpoint. But you might not know what to write about that. I'm going to just take these properties, position, bottom, and left. I'm going to cut them and say, okay, article text, you're just going to be background color green. Look what happens. It's just hanging out below, all the way up. Even if I go all the way up this way, it's still hanging out down below by default until I tell it otherwise. And here comes the @include breakpoint SM. And only when you're on a tablet will you, I'm going to paste in position absolute, bottom, and left. Only when you're on tablet and above, tablet, desktop, and large desktop, you're going to become position absolute 1 rem. Save, refresh. Okay, now when I refresh right there, it's still hanging down, hanging down, hanging down. Snap. Boom. It goes into the bottom left corner, and it stays at the bottom left corner until told otherwise. I love that. Look at that. See? Boom, 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 boom. Media queries. And the mix-in is doing some hard work for us. I don't have to talk about any positioning up here. Article text, just mobile friendly, mobile first, defaults. You're just background color green. You just do your thing. And then only snap into position absolute, bottom and left when you reach the breakpoint for tablet, the SM. Pretty cool. Awesome. Okay, now I'm gonna have a moment here, and we're gonna think forwards multiple steps and even backwards at the same time. It doesn't make any sense, but if I look at the PDF and look at this sports label and this headline and the description and the meta bits, that is more or less the same style as the secondary and the tertiary. The only thing that's different is the font sizes get a little small, and we're eliminating some of the, we don't have descriptions on the tertiaries, and we don't have the meta author timestamp bits on the tertiaries. If I scroll down to trendings, it's almost the same thing. It's just a label with a headline. And even if I go to mobile, same thing. And the single is the same category, same headline, same meta bits, and obviously different article. So we are potentially going to have redundant article properties. Redundant article properties. Do I want to declare uniquely what showcase primary type headings are, font family, Arial, font size, this, color, that, and then do the same thing. Hey, secondary, H2s, you're this and you're that. Hey, tertiary, H2s, you're this and you're that. Hey, trending, hey, single showcase, single article showcase, you're this and that. No, 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 no. We should do this in a very dry manner. And I think we need to declare article headlines once and then have it cascade all over the place in those various areas. So since it's a reusable thing, I think we're going to make our first component here. Our first component, PWD, where am I? My second, I am inside Syracuse.com, change directory, CSS/component, components, PWD, yes, I'm in components. I'm going to make a file, touch underscore article dot sass. And now inside article sass, I'm gonna try to, at my very best, to contain everything about that text. Now, how do I do that? How do I talk to this text? Because this thing is called article class primary with an image called a responsive image. and then article text. I'm going to slide in a first class in front of primary called article. Look where I have highlighted in blue, if you can see that. Let me zoom in a little bit. I'm going to slide in a class called article, not an element called article, two different things, but this article is going to bring in all the defaults, and then primary is only going to change a couple things. It's going to make something slightly bigger for some of the text, but really all the text is more or less the same. Let's see what happens. You're going to see this play out as I build it. Hey, article. Let me go back to the article sass. Period article. Now, some of you might be freaking out. Well, if I do this, that's the article element. No, I'm going to stylize just the article. Now, if I think about it, actually, if I think about all the articles, I probably could get away with this, but I don't really like to assume all my articles are going to look exactly the same, even though in my prototype they do. I want to safely target the article class, and we're going to use that in specific spots. So, hey, article class, what's so special about you? Well, you have an H2 inside you. And H2, you are font family, what? Primary font, but just think Arial right now, eventually Roboto. Your default font size, I'm just going to guess 3 rem for right now. And I'm going to say color. Color what? What is the color? Oh, sorry, wrong screen. Not single, back here. White, color white, until we know otherwise. Okay. The H3 was my sports label. And I'm going to say background color, SYR orange, color white. Save. Let's see what happens. It's not working. Did I hit save? Article, primary. Oh, didn't link to the table of contents for article. So regions, I think before views, but be a good spot to import components / article and semicolon. Boom, save, refresh. There we go. Okay, so big font, little orange background, not quite stylized yet. H2, font weight bold. Same thing with you, H3. You're going to be also primary font, but you're going to be a lot smaller. Font size 1 rem for right now, 16 pixels. Save, refresh. Font weight bold as well for the H3, the sport, if you will, category label. By default, your H tags will take up 100% of the available space until you tell it otherwise. Like the H2 is good to do that, but the H3, I don't want the orange to go all the way from the left to the right. So the property that makes the 100% is display block. Okay, by default, all your H tags are display block. But if you flip it, you can say, hey, display, I don't want you to be block 100%. I just want you to wrap around the content inside you. I want to shrink wrap. I want to just suck out all the extra air and make you an inline block. Just be as wide as the textual content inside it. Save, look what happens. It sucks out all that default space. But I don't want the orange right up against the edge of the word, so I need a little padding. How about padding 1 rem until I know otherwise? Padding 1 rem. Okay, and then rounded corners. I want what's called border radius. And I think we can put in border radius 50%. Don't do that, no. It makes like a gumdrop or a jelly bean. Oh, what is it? What do I want? How do I do rounded corners like that? For right now, I'm just going to put in 20px. Let's see what happens. Save, refresh. How do I get border radius, perfect circles? Border radius Pill. Border radius pill. This is what I'm searching in. Capsule shape using border radius without setting a width or a height. Thank you. Stack Overflow. Yeah. How do I get this? Oh my God! This site is making my cursor sprinkle down little asterisks. This is magical. Don't do that with your project. If you do that with your project, you will fail. Apply a very large border radius. Seems to work. Well, Jesus, that's not the greatest thing. By the way, this is in this is in Comic Sans. Don't stylize your website. I don't know if I'm getting a correct answer here. How to create a pill button, W3 schools. Yep. Pill button. Border radius, they say an actual value for 16. I do like the idea of a very large border radius, like 50 pixels, something larger than what you need. And yeah, there, whoa, hold on, zoom in. It works. Looking at my PDF though, I can make it caps. I can make it smaller. So font size 1 rem, kind of big. I'm gonna make it 0.75. Padding can take a little step down a little bit, maybe 0.5 padding. And how do I make it caps? Well, the magical property called text transform, uppercase. That will make things uppercase. Dana, welcome aboard. Yes, we do have a live session starting at 3 o'clock about the tip calculator, but I did start at 1 o'clock for Syracuse.com. And yes, you can just catch up on your own, which might be beneficial, especially if you want to stop and apply some of this. Save, refresh. I just made things a little tinier, and oh, look at that little pill. Okay, yeah, you'll see this a lot across different websites when you have little categories, little buttons. You'll hear the term pill because it has a border radius. This H3, I'm gonna push down. Hey, margin bottom. I don't want the H2 headline to be like right up against it, so 0.5 rem. Save, refresh. Boom, pushes the headline down. Cool. I can keep going. There's a paragraph inside here, font family, primary font. Font size, what do we got? Font size 1 rem until we know otherwise. Color white. These are basic properties. I open up Firefox. Get out of here, Firefox. Refresh. Boom. H2 headline can push down a little bit. Margin bottom. I'm going to do a full rem, 1 rem. Get off the headline. Save, refresh. Boom. Perfect. P tag can also push down 1 rem. Push that little H4 down. Boom, got a little space in there. And last but not least, the H4 line, font size 1 rem until we know otherwise, font family, primary font, color white, which it already is probably. And yeah, color white is kind of being redundant right now, but we're okay. And that's it. I know if I look at my PDF, what do we have? We have a little clock icon, a little posted, a little image icon of an author, and the little author line by John Smith. How do we do that? Well, inside the H4, you're going to load it up with 4 children. H4 is going to have a span of, what are we going to call this? Well, clock icon for right now until I have it. Clock icon. Click, clock, click, clock. After that, a span of timestamp goes here. And another span for author image. And a 4th span for by author name. Span. What is a span versus an H1, H2, H3? Clock icon, timestamp goes here, author IMG by author name. A span element is a neutral selector, a neutral type selector. What do I mean by neutral? Well, H3, H2, paragraph, and H4 apply semantic value. this H2 is the most important thing in this little block. H3 is secondary. H4 is third place, and paragraph is where. So H2 is most important in this little block, H3, then H4, and then the default paragraph. Inside the H4, I have 4 bits, but I don't want to apply any value to the bits of this H4. So you use a span element. Nice thing about spans, yeah, they don't apply value, but you can also apply classes to them. And I could put in a class called article icon until I know otherwise. Article icon. I can put a class here called article timestamp if I need it. This span class equals article. Let's skip the whole article prefix. Author img and author name. Yeah, author hyphen name. Just by putting classes in there, it does nothing. Look at the browser doesn't know what to do with all that mess. It's like still just stylizing raw text. Granted, I don't even have the images in there. But now I can stylize them uniquely. So here comes the clock icon. Click, clock, on font, awesome. If I type in clock, and does that match the one I was using? I think it was. Boop, yep, perfect. Clock icon, download. Yes, agree. Same exact process from before. Copy, paste, and it's called clock regular SVG. Images slash, oh god, what was it called? Oh, thank you VS Code for helping me because I forgot already. Clock regular and alt tag clock icon. Save. It's gonna be big. Get ready. Big clock. How are we gonna scale this down? Well, we could start by stylizing this SVG element by saying, hey, H4, I know you have, what do you have inside you? You have a span called article icon. So I can just do H4 period article icon. What's so special about you? I'm gonna make you tiny. I'm gonna make you 30px height auto. Let's see what happens. Let's see if this even works. Save, refresh. Didn't do anything because it stylized the span, but it didn't stylize the interior article. Or sorry, the interior SVG. So hey, article icon space img width 30. There you go. Okay, you can get smaller. I don't want to see you. I want you to be super small. I'm gonna actually use a rem right here. 1 rem, 16p. Oh, come back. 16px. Itty bitty. Yes. And then what else? It's my second timestamp. Well, the timestamp is already taken on the font properties, so that's fine. Author img. Well, let's get an author img inside here. Go into images folder and grab. Don't remember what it's called, so I should just look at this manually. Profile. Images slash profile.jpg. And alt could be profile or author image, but it'd be nice to put in someone's name. John Smith image. Or just John Smith. Because it knows it's an image to begin with. Save, refresh. Okay, big image. Okay, so what do we do? How do we scale this little author img down? Well, copy the class, bring it over. Hey, author img, you are going to be width 50 pixels. I might even force you to be 50 pixels for the height. Save, refresh. What happens? Nothing happens. The span, the outside span got shrank, but the interior image did not. So, any guesses what I'm gonna do? I was about to do this. I was about to type out img with 100% height auto. But people, I already have that somewhere. Why is this technically redundant? What should I do? How can I make that little image inside the author img span class, the span element, scale to 100% without me retyping this over and over again. Think about it, think about it, think about it. What do we got? We have a utility class somewhere else that I could drop into my little image here. Image source, profile.jpg, alt, John Smith, class equals responsive img utility class that we created decades ago. Feels like decades ago. Oh my God. Why? Yo, image, what are you doing? Image, what? 100%? Yeah, you're fine. Author img. You're 50 by 50. Why are you so damn big? Oh. Well, I'm going to guess that the H4 parent is like a row. This H4 is a row. It has 4 children in it. So you need to do a little display flex action. Separate your children so they display side by side. There we go. Look at that. Clock icon, timestamp, author img, author name, side by side. How do we vertically center those children? Well, we already did it up in the header. So I'm going to go examine that, align items in the center. Hey, H4. Hey, 4 little children inside it. Coincidence that there's 4 children inside the H4 element, by the way. Save, refresh. Ooh, look at they're vertically centered. Perfect. The image can be like push off, margin right, 0.5 rem. That's a little timestamp image. And this one, author img, this can have just margin right 0.5, a little bit, push off. And hell, push the other way, margin left 0.5 rem. No, I'm gonna push left 1 rem. I want that author image block to really push away so that there's a gigantic gap or somewhat gigantic gap between those. I'm going to make it larger, 1.5 rem, because when you have a giant gap in the middle, it tells you that this text belongs to this clock icon, and then this text belongs to this image because they are close to each other. This is close to each other, but then gigantic gap. Last but not least, how can I make rounded corners on this author img? Well, that's border hyphen radius. And I know the value, 25px. Save, refresh, doesn't work. It doesn't work because this is remember this whole thing, author image, is the span element. It's technically a little mini parent wrapped around the interior image. Let me go back to HTML and point this out. Author image is our parent around the image. So the image is like, woo, I'm 50 by 50. I'm hanging out. I'm not going to get trimmed. I'm not going to get cropped into a circle. That's where you got to go and say, hey, author img, little mini parent, if you have content that flows out of you, I want you to crop it. So these little corners of this interior image are now going to be hidden in favor of using the border radius. So this is like a little parent. Let me just make this smaller. Look at that. That parent little block, the span element called author img, is now overflow : hidden, turning off the corners of its interior image. Isn't that beautiful, right? Hashtag, I know you're impressed out there in Slackville, okay? Anyways, cool. So, backing up 1,000 steps. Oh, also this clock icon, I want to make it white. We just got to repeat the steps from before. Clock regular, rip out its interior classes, rip out its own fill, and put in its own fill of hashtag FFF. Save, refresh, boom, white clock, click clock, click clock, timestamp, author image, author name, boom. Any questions on Slack so far about what I'm doing? Your main question might be like, well, why did I just do all this inside article SAS? Why is this all an article SAS file? Well, I'm going to use this 1,000 times, these font styles. I'm going to use it again for this secondary article, albeit a little smaller. I'm going to use it again for tertiary. They're all redundant styles. The only thing that's changing is what am I saying? The font sizes are just getting smaller, but the font properties, font weight, font family, color, text transform uppercase, border radius, they're all the same. Just font size getting changed a little bit. So without getting too deep, watch this. I'm going to take my article text, or even this, I'll just take article text and collapse it. And that is a tight little bundle that I'm going to use in my secondary. Again, I'm opening up secondary article, getting rid of the little text, and pasting in, pasting in article text inside secondary and just link to an image. Hey, secondary image, /images / Colemans.jpg and Colemans, save, refresh, boom, big image, but look at it's not scaling to fit, and gigantic clock icon and all that stuff. Look at it, it's even sticking out. It's sticking out. What am I going to do? Hopefully you're thinking about that responsive class that we built ahead of time. Jeremy Kahn's in the house. How do I become a wizard like you? At J Passetti. You shut your face, Jeremy. Don't you be sarcastic and sassy with me. If you're going to get sassy, get CSS sassy. Class equals what? Class equals responsive IMG. Scale Coleman's to fit. Whoop, perfect. And then, in addition to calling it secondary, I'm going to slide in my little article class. It's not a utility class, but it is kind of like a utility class. That's going to bring in all of the article properties. Look at that. Look how it snaps into category, title goes here, summary goes here, timestamp, and all that fun stuff. Yeah, less SAS, less CSS, whatever you want to call it, is good. It's no different really than SAS. So stop it, Jeremy. You're distracting me. Boom. But hey, I don't want secondary to be quite as big as everything else. And also while we're here, let's fix that problem. How can I make primary the default, but then secondary just takes a hit and comes down a couple font sizes? How can we do that even here? Article H2. I'm going to focus on the article H2. Well, I can come down to the very end of my article. Right here. This is almost the very end. And what the hell did I do? Article, line height, expected, what? Line 33. What did I do on line 33? I didn't touch line 33. Did I hit return or anything? No. I'll come back to that mistake. Ampersand. Ampersand coming in right here represents the original selector, and that's article. Article with period, a secondary class called, well, literally, a secondary class. Now let me type that out. What does that mean? That means class equals article secondary. This ampersand means article, the original selector up at the very top. This guy, article, the original selector. See, I'm out of the children pieces, out of the children pieces, out of the children pieces. Okay, hey, article, parent selector. But if I immediately have a complete secondary class, literally called secondary, coming right in after the article, I can get away with this. Okay, if you were to type this out manually, even without SAS, you would do something like period, article, period, secondary, curly brace, curly brace. That's valid in CSS. Well, in SAS land, you can get away with ampersand, period, secondary. Hey, secondary, what's so special about you? Well, your H2 child, it's kind of big right now. The H2 is trying to be font size 3 rem. You know what? Font size for H2, you're gonna take it down a notch to 2 rem. Only when secondary has been applied to the article. Boom. I'm still having a SAS problem. Hold on. Save. Article SAS line. It was blah 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 blah. Line 33. Killing me, line 33. What's wrong with you? I don't see a mistake. Usually, sometimes the mistake happens above, and you weren't even at 10. Can I not get past this? Am I blind? Am I not seeing my mistake? Everything looks beautiful. I got colons, I got semicolons, I got semicolons, I got colons in the middle. Well, son of a bitch. I'm gonna, oh, I had scrolled in my stupid terminal, and that was like an old message. Oh my God. Oh, that's embarrassing. Jeez. Hashtag Jeff, you're a professional. Jeez. I'm looking around my room that I'm in because I'm embarrassed of judgment. I had accidentally scrolled up on my terminal. Okay, back in business. Save. Refresh. Boom. H2 takes a hit. H2 takes a hit, and it gets smaller. Now I'm not going to do anything to category or the summary or the timestamp. I'm just affecting the H2. So if that article class has the secondary class right after it, then the interior H2 takes a font size dive, if you will. And we're going to do the same thing with tertiary. We're going to come back to HTML land. We're going to pick up Coleman's and the article text. We're going to pretend Coleman's is going everywhere through this. And I'm going to get rid of tertiary 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm just going to go with tertiary 1. Get rid of the 1 and paste in the image. Yeah. Oh my God, getting pretty thick here. And the article text. Oh my God. Got to clean up my tabs. And still got to mess with some tabs. There we go. There we go. Boom. It just has tertiary. Now, if I hit refresh right now, yeah, Coleman's comes in, but doesn't have anything because the tertiary doesn't have my secret little parent class called article. Save, refresh, snaps in, but it doesn't have the font size. Okay, doesn't have the font size. So I'm coming back here, ampersand period tertiary. H2, you're going to be even smaller, font size 1.5 rem when tertiary has been applied to the article parent. And then secondary or tertiary has been applied. Boom, save, refresh. Okay, while I'm here, hey tertiary, I don't want a summary display. Whoa. Hey tertiary, I don't want a paragraph. Hey tertiary, I don't want an H4 with the meta bits display none. Why am I clicking some stupid shortcut? Display none. Okay, yeah, tertiary, you're knocking down the font size for H2, but you're also turning off the paragraph summary and the H4 author line, but you're keeping everything else. And I'm going to go back to HTML and just clone that beautiful little tertiary article. Hey, tertiary article, let me zoom in. Zoom. Oh my God, what did I just do? I just changed font colors or something? What did I just click on? This is crazy. I am just clicking random things. I just changed the color palette somehow with a keyboard shortcut. Anyways, tertiary. Oh, tertiary, can you just copy, paste in, collapsed? That would help my life. Paste. I'm getting a little salty with myself here. This might be time for a break. But look at article, article, article. Boom. 4 articles inside Showcase, right? We already planned that. Save, refresh. Now, magical colors. We see mobile only. Okay, because we're not doing display flex. We're not getting fancy. But when we go big, Tabletville. Still not snappy. What did I do? Did I destroy something? Oh, I didn't even stylize. I didn't stylize showcase row and tertiary stuff. Oh, that was back on home SAS. I got ahead of myself. I was just doing primary stuff, and then I didn't even get into secondary and all that stuff. So we did this from class. You can look up your code. I'm inside showcase. Here comes showcase hyphen row. Hey, row, what's so special about you? Display, flex. Take your children and put the secondary next to the tertiaries. Boom. Secondary goes next to tertiaries. But then tertiaries don't know what to do with themselves, so they're spilling out of control. Hey, showcase row. The secondary inside you will eventually become with 50%. But you know what? Let's go into responsive right away. Secondary, you're going to be 50%, but not until tablet. So I'm going to include a breakpoint with a small for tablet. Hey, secondary, you are going to be once you hit tablet, you're going to become 50% of the available space. Tertiary, showcase hyphen right, can't type. You are going to be 50% of the available space once you hit tablet. And my little tertiary children, you also are going to be 50% of your 50% space. If you think about it, it's almost like 25%. Holy guacamole. Showcase row. You got a little parent with some flex. Mega child called secondary. It's taking up 50% of the space. Its brother sister box called showcase right, taking up 50% of the space. Only on tablet, by the way. But tertiaries, I should actually tuck tertiaries in. And you know what? I could sneak it in right here. Hey, tertiary with 50% and just get rid of this. Saving some space. Showcase right, when you hit tablet, showcase right itself changes to 50%, and then its little tertiary children inside that changes to 50% of the available space. And oh, what's going on? Well, yeah, these are 50%, but they're not going up. Showcase right, you're missing something. On Slack, can anyone answer? What's showcase right missing? Why can't these little tertiary children go up and tuck in? What's missing in showcase right? Showcase right has 4 tertiary children inside it, but it can't get those little tertiary. Kate, flex wrap. You're one step ahead of yourself. Go back. In order to have flex wrap work correctly, what do you need right before that? You are 50% correct. Showcase right. Yeah, Kate, you got it. Display flex. Showcase right, you got some children. And you gotta wrap your children to new rows and not force them to be 4 children across. You can listen to the interior 50% of the space by wrapping children to new rows. Save, refresh, boom. Look at all this. It's magical. It's magical. And it's responsive. Oh, coming back. And it's responsive. Oh, shit. No, it isn't. Oh, showcase row. Showcase row, you're only supposed to be display flex when you hit a breakpoint. You're not supposed to be flex right away mobile first. You're supposed to snap into flex when you hit tablet. So I got some reorganization to do here. Let me trash what I just wrote about showcase row. Hey, showcase row, I want to include a breakpoint right away because mobile first, you're just going to hang out. You're not going to do anything. But when you hit tablet, you're going to do something special. You're going to become display flex. Perfect. But inside showcase row, we have the secondary class. Tablet, we're already in tabletville here on this breakpoint. Hey, secondary, you are going to become with 50% of the available space. Showcase hyphen right, your brother sister of secondary, you're going to become with 50%. And inside showcase right, we have the tertiary children, and you tertiary children are going to become with 50%. Ooh, got some nesting going on. Look how I saved some space and went right into Tabletville. Boom. Okay, so they're all stacking 100%, 100%, 100%. But then they become, they're not fitting, those tertiaries. Oh, back to my other problem I had about 2 minutes ago. Showcase right, you got to be display flex. And according to Kate, we need flex hyphen wrap colon wrap to take care of those little 50% children blocks and make it tablet, and boom, perfect. It works. To fix this, well, I would say the gutters are bothering me right now. The gutters are bothering me. Can we, hey, secondary, can you just push to the right 1 rem? Let's see what happens. Boom, get a little gutter space, perfect. Primary, can you just push down 1 rem margin? Can't spell margin bottom, by the way. Margin hyphen bottom. Hey, primary, push down, push the whole showcase row down 1 rem. Boom, nice little margin. And then tertiaries, can all of you just, I don't know, margin right 1 rem. It's going to have some bad effects here. Get ready. Boom, can't fit. Okay, so actually we're gonna get sneaky. I'm gonna take away margin right off of secondary. Watch what happens. It's gonna make those two things push up against each other. And then the tertiaries, we're gonna get sneaky. We're gonna push left 1 rem. And the width of every tertiary is going to be a result of a calculation. And we are going to say, hey, tertiary, you're going to be 50% of the space minus 1 rem. See what happens. Save, refresh. Boom. Oh, can't wait for you guys to learn CSS Grid, because CSS Grid has some gutter properties and some margin properties that are just much easier to work with than doing it this way. But I had to counteract. I just had to say, hey, tertiary children, can't be 50% of the space because you have a left arm you're pushing away. And what else? Tertiary, can you push down? Yeah, you're fine. Good. Cool. Well, it's 3:16, and we got the showcase and tertiaries done. I think you can definitely do trending by yourself. We did it in class, and it's a matter of just picking up the articles that we have up here and dumping them down in there 6 times. The banner ad is really just a banner with a container with an image inside it. It's a big image. That's easy. And footer, well, footer has some pieces to it. Let's look at this preview. Look at trending articles, just has an H tag, just call it an H2, and then article. You can almost continue on with what you were doing up here, down below. This banner ad is a section with gray in the background with the interior container with the image inside it that's being scaled up to 100% of the available space. Footer is a little bit more complex, but not really. It has a logo, SVG, has a paragraph, and then these social media icons could be a little tricky, but they're a UL and LI system with A tags inside with image SVGs. fill the whites with padding, with a border radius, etc. Let me scoop on down to the single article. If you look at the single article, it's the same showcase, almost, the primary showcase, with another absolute position box, kind of like what I have highlighted right here. Position absolute in a little showcase div. Position absolute, bottom 1 rem, left 1 rem. After that, well, then you have a new row, like a new row going all the way across right here. And inside that row, you have a little child box and a child box going all the way down this. But I'm going to take a break here. It's 3:18. Give me a couple minutes. I'm going to end this stream. And give me 5 minutes, and we're going to transition into the tip calculator. But for right now, that's all I'm going to show for Syracuse.com. If we get into a groove, maybe I can continue on with Syracuse.com later on tonight to show you just a few more bits, but I think you are more or less equipped with the pieces to finish this off. Now, I'd like to see you hand in something about Syracuse.com by Monday, tomorrow night. It's going to be incomplete. You're not going to have everything perfect, but I do want to take a look at where you are on Syracuse.com, give you some feedback, tell you what to organize and improve, and then I'll create a new deadline next week for you to submit the finished version. But like I said, with what I just covered today, what we covered this past week during class, what I didn't cover today, but what we did in class was how do we hook up a click of the menu or a click of the search. We did that Wednesday night. You can take some of that code and divs and bring it into this current project. But today, I think you learned position absolute versus position relative. You once again learned how to structure your HTML and CSS and SAS. And I think the super advanced thing that I did with you was how to consolidate type styles, repetitive type styles, the article text styles, into a utility class, not a utility class, but like a parent class. This is article class, or sorry, this is class equals article, this is class equals article, this is class equals article. And then as you scroll down, this is class equals article. But they all have maybe a different parent or different little extra class to make them kind of different. And that means you could potentially right now control all of those article styles from one component SAS file. Right here, you can control them from one central area without getting caught up in extra, you're not going to be stylizing the text 10 times throughout your entire document. You can stylize your article text here once, or once, twice, 3 times in this little area. Cool. All right, so it's 3:21. Let me take a break. I'll come back at 3:25, and we'll continue on. I'm going to end this stream so it completes the video, and then we'll bring in a new video with the tip calculator.